because we're such a special guest. He's a world international investor, Jim Rogers. He's infamous. I mean, he's beyond famous, he's infamous. And when he speaks, everybody listens because his view of the world is different from everybody else. He doesn't say much about it, but he was George Soros's partner in the quantum fund. And those guys were they were the best of the best. He's going to be talking about what he sees of the world now, because the world has changed dramatically, as we all know, since January 2020. The world is a very different place today. And so it's a really honor to have my friend of Rich Dad, Jim Rogers, talking about what he sees in the world today.
What's happening now, of course, is, at least in my view, there is a huge reaction to the virus. In my view, it's an overreaction. We've had pandemics before, just recently as 2009 in the US, we had the H1N1 virus. Well, we didn't close McDonald's. Delta didn't stop flying. The world didn't come to an end. This has happened before. It seems to me that for whatever reason, a few months ago, politicians or media or somebody started overreacting, and now the whole world is closed down. Sometimes the cure is worse than the disease, and that's what seems to be happening now, if you ask me. Do not think that I'm saying it's wonderful to get the virus. Do not say I think it's wonderful to be sick or to die. I'm certainly not, and I'm in the age group which would be most vulnerable to the virus. But no, I wish that we could go back and start over, keep calm, and handle this in a more reasonable way. The world is really going to suffer. You see what Washington is doing, not just Washington, everywhere. The politicians are printing staggering amounts of money, spending staggering amounts of money. Every day in Japan, the Bank of Japan goes, the head cranks up the printing presses, prints money as fast as he can, buys ETFs, buys bonds. Now he has permission to buy stocks. Every day he just buys as much as he can print. But it's happening. I mean, the U.S. is the largest debtor nation in the history of the world, Robert. And look what we're doing. Another few trillion. I mean, I feel sorry for everybody in the U.S. I feel sorry. My kids, young people in the U.S., Robert, I don't know how they're going to cope. In 1920, the UK was the richest, most powerful country in the world. There was no number two. And then they started doing the same thing. They went nuts, and now the UK is not even in the top 20 anymore. Still there, but the standard of living compared to what the UK had then and now is dramatic different. So I feel sorry for young people in the US. I feel sorry for you and me.
So do you ever prognosticate or do a crystal ball or a model scenario? I mean, with so much money printed, and that old saying is that Fed is out of bullets. We're at quantitative easing, can't go any lower in interest rates, and we're going to have to print more to stop the bleeding, stop the hemorrhaging. You have a crystal ball? I mean, do you ever do that? Do you look into the future?
Well, Robert, unfortunately, that's how I pay my bills. I have to try to look into the future. I mean, what I expect to happen, but because first of all, we had this gigantic collapse, and that often leads to a big rebound, just because that's the way markets are. Now everybody is printing and spending and printing as fast as they can. So the markets are going up. Obviously, that's what they have to do. But eventually, and remember again, I want to repeat, there's an election in November in the United States. So nobody's going to be against it. Even if they have a sound mind, they're not going to be against it because they need to be reelected. This is somewhere along the line, Robert. The market's going to say, wait a minute, we've seen this movie. We're not going to play this game anymore. And then we're going to have another leg down, a big leg down. And it's going to be horrendous because the debt is staggering and the money that's printing is staggering. One conceivable possibility, there's a theory around these days, new monetary theory called modern monetary theory, which basically says that everything anybody sound knows doesn't matter. Just give me a free lunch. Give me a free lunch. Give me a free dinner. Give me a free everything. So, in times of real stress, strange ideas come up and get following. Mr. Marx had some strange ideas, and a lot of people tried it for a while. It didn't work, but that didn't stop people from trying it for a long time. So we may have more of the same. They just may print like the Bank of Japan. He cannot stop printing. And I'm afraid that's going to happen to a lot of us. And the debt is going to be staggering. And I don't like saying it. I'm an American citizen, but I don't want the U.S. to go the way of Great Britain, but I'm afraid it's going that way.